Watching Shrek in the theaters as an adult was extremely surreal because when this movie originally came out, I was in elementary school. And even though I probably saw it back then in theaters, I have a vague regulation of if I did see it in theaters as a child. Wait, also, why are my lights still red? That was for my horror review. There we go. So seeing it again for its quarter century anniversary, when you say it like that, it does sound like it came out a long time ago, because that sounds scarier than saying 25th anniversary. But this did make me feel like I was experiencing this movie for the first time again. And honestly, I forgot how much of this movie went over my head as a kid. But Shrek of 2001, let's talk about how different this movie was supposed to look. The development started on this in 1995, and originally Chris Farley was supposed to be voicing the lovable ogre that we know now. But sadly, he passed away in 1997 before the movie progressed. And thinking about it, that version of Shrek would have been completely different from what we have now. Because Mike Myers honestly made this character iconic. And honestly, I feel like DreamWorks, they saw Austin Powers and they're like, let's give this shagadelic guy the role of Shrek. But seriously, the casting for this movie is perfect. You have Mike Myers as Shrek, you have Eddie Murphy as Donkey, and you have Cameron Diaz as Fiona. All of these characters are brought to life by their voice actors, because the chemistry alone between Shrek and Donkey brings this movie extremely to life. That's what makes this movie known by today. And honestly, it's funny revisiting this movie now, knowing that I'm working on Harry Potter videos pretty soon, because the voice actor for Lord Farquaad is playing Dumbledore in the new Harry Potter TV series. The more you know. And to add on to that, Harry Potter's 25th anniversary is this year as well, since the show's coming out this December. Both Shrek and Harry Potter came out 2001. But I have to talk about all the jokes in this movie that completely went over my head, because seeing it now, I'm flabbergasted how they even allowed this in this movie. Farquaad's entire name, the Disney satire, so many innuendos, and the mirror scene, and to wipe your face instead of, you already know. This movie was extremely unhinged for a family movie, and the way that they got away with this adds to the fun that this movie was to watch. And as a kid, I never realized how much DreamWorks was literally just parodies of Disney films. Duloc is basically the perfect corporate version of Magic Kingdom, and Lord Farquaad is literally just a petty Disney executive. This movie was low-key rebellious, and honestly, this is one of the reasons why this movie is so good. It didn't feel polished and perfect. It was messy, it was sloppy, it was sarcastic, it was weird, and it was extremely self-aware. And apparently this movie is loosely based off of a book from the early 90s. It was called Shrek, which honestly I just learned today. So you don't have to give me my flowers from assuming that I've known this for a while. And hearing the soundtrack again in theaters was awesome. I wasn't really a smart child, because when it was like she had the shape of an L on her forehead, I forgot that meant loser. Very weird childhood. Kind of sad that I forgot a lot of it. But All-Star, I'm a Believer, so many classic songs today that whenever we think back on them, we literally think straight to Shrek. But my theater, it wasn't really packed, honestly. Like, there was no one there, but the experience of having a full theater to myself to watch this movie was golden. But underneath all the jokes and the parody, this movie does work because it has a lot of heart. Shrek isolates himself because people judge him immediately. Fiona hides who she is throughout the entire film, and the movie basically turns the ugly outsider into the hero. That's probably why the movie aged so well, because underneath the humor and the satire, it is a beautiful story of it's not about what's on the outside, it's about who you are as a person, or an ogre, for instance. And honestly, I completely forgot how massive this movie was. In 2001, this movie came out with a $60 million budget and somehow made $493 million. Think about that to today's standards, that's a lot of money. And it ended up becoming the 4th highest grossing movie in 2001, behind Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Lord of the Rings, and Monsters, Inc. And this movie basically helped DreamWorks establish being an animated competition against Pixar. Because before this, Pixar dominated the animated movies. Well, the CGI animated movies, but you guys understand what I mean. But then Shrek came in, completely changed the vibe, and now we have DreamWorks extremely established, giving us fire content every few years. I really do think it's crazy how amazing this film actually is. And we're getting a 5th movie coming out next year. It was supposed to come out this year, but I guess there was some complaints about how the CGI looked, or probably the story got leaked. I can't say for sure, this is just what I recall, but you guys could comment below and and tell me what actually happened. But revisiting this movie, I actually didn't realize that Shrek isn't just a child movie that I grew up enjoying. This film is legit the most influential animated movies we've gotten in this century. The Liberty of Congress literally preserved it in its National Film Registry. That's huge. Making it the first animated movie of the 21st century to get that honor. Like, think about how crazy that is. I really thought I was just revisiting a fun child movie, but Shrek really is the heart of animated films. This movie is way smarter than I ever realized as a kid, and honestly, it still completely works to this day. But if you grew up with Shrek, let me know what jokes went over your head. And are you guys excited for this new movie coming out next year? I want to know what you guys think. And I just mainly reviewed this movie because it was in theaters for its 25th anniversary, so that was actually just cool to experience. But if you like my vibe, comment below, like and subscribe. I'm James Hancock, signing off.